So it's like, of course, just to remind you, of course, that it's still subject to a substantial risk, and And of course, there is a report that it actually tries it at one of the things. Sound check. Sound check. Sound check. Hello, mic test 1 2 3. Can you guys hear me? Good evening. Sound check. Mic test 1 2 3. Okay. I want to hear some feedback if you guys could hear my voice very clearly. So welcome back again to my YouTube channel. We are on a live AMA session again. So this time our special guest, of course, is no other than the co-founder of Super Vet, Mr. Faizan Amwar. So this is one of the priority projects of Comunitas Launchpad, in which they're going to have an upcoming IKO campaign. So 5 super rare NFTs will be given away for the top 5 AMA questions. So I want to say hello to all of our early birds here. Dixon, Suresh Hexor, thanks for coming. A&D Family Channel, welcome back. So we are 12 minutes away before we get started. So we are still waiting for the co-founder Faizan Amwar to come into our room. How are you guys doing, by the way? Happy Wednesday to you, by the way, guys. So you might want to stay tuned until the end, guys, because I will be having a special announcement after this live AMA is over. You should be excited for this special announcement. So I'm just giving you a bit of spoilers. So yeah, we have to wait for Faizan to come in. We have less than 5 minutes left before we get started. We're still waiting for Faizan to come in. How are you guys doing, by the way? Blessed Enemy, hello. Shout out to you. It's 8:56 p.m. here in the Philippines, but we're now based for in UTC time. Okay, so if it's 1 p.m. UTC, that will be 9 p.m. Philippines time. Afia Wern, hello. Thanks for coming. How's your day today? 3 minutes ago, we were still waiting for our guest to come in. So guys, 5 super rare NFTs will be given away for the top 5 AMA questions. So the official website is supervet.io. So make sure that you study the project so that you can prepare your questions for later. You could be one of the winners of the 5 super rare NFTs. So when it comes to super rare, of course, this is not just like any other ordinary NFT. Well, this is really something special. It could be very expensive later on if you're going to sell it in the market. Okay, so I think he's here. I'm going to admit him. Hello, Faizan.
Hey Jeff, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. What about you?
I'm good. How's everything at your end? How's your day?
By the way, do you have your own microphone? I cannot hear your voice very clearly.
Okay, just let me log in.
Yeah, we need to hear your voice very clearly.
All right, is it better now?
You might want to set up that first. I still can't hear you clearly. Maybe you want to set it up first. Yeah, you have to set up your headset, the microphone of your headset, because I cannot hear your voice very clearly. It's yeah.
Okay, so I have just set up my headset. I believe it's
finally
better now. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, perfect.
Nice. That's good. Now we can hear you very clearly.
Perfect.
Okay, so Faizan, we are already live on YouTube. You might want to say hello to all of our live viewers who are tuning in right now.
Hello, everyone. Hope everyone's doing great.
Yes. Okay, guys. So this is the co-founder of SuperVet, Mr. Faizan Amwar. Okay, so our agenda will be, of course, the SuperVet. So we'll be talking about its ecosystem, features, and so on. And of course, later on, you'll be asking questions, okay, to our special guest, Faizan. All right. So I think it's time now for us to begin. Let me know if you are good to go, Faizan.
Yeah, let's start. And thank you so much for having me on board, Player, being here, excited for this session.
Okay. So we officially begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you, wherever you are in the world. So once again, this is yours truly, Jeff, aka Nomad Fury, and we're back once again for another live AMA session. So this time, our special guest is no other than the co-founder of SuperVet, Mr. Faizan Amwar. So Faizan, thanks for being here and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for the introduction, Jeff. Player to be part of the show. Excited for this session.
All right. And also, I would like to say hello to all of our live viewers here who are tuning into our AMA. Okay, right here on YouTube. So hello to everyone. So guys, our agenda is more about Super Vet. And of course, if you have no idea about the giveaways, so they will be giving away 5 super rare NFTs for the top 5 AMA questions. So after my Q&A session is over, of course, feel free to ask questions to Faizan, all right? So guys, you need to reserve your questions for now. Okay, so please wait until my Q&A session with Faizan is over, okay? And also guys, before we begin, of course, I will be having a special announcement to all of you after this live AMA, okay? So Faizan, are we all set?
Yeah, let's start.
Okay, so first things first, Faizan, let's get to know more a bit about you. So Faizan, how did you get started in your crypto, blockchain, DeFi, and NFT journey, and what inspired and motivated you in creating and developing SuperVet?
Yeah, so my journey dates back to, you can say, the last quarter of 2016, when I came across the term Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, and all of that. And I did some initial research on internet, just like any other guy. And when I came across the concept of decentralized world, that was something new for me. I'll tell you a little bit about my educational background as well, to give a more perspective to the whole story. I'm a chemical engineer by education, and I'm a motion graphics artist and an entrepreneur by profession. So back in 2016, it was the last quarter, I came across Bitcoin, the decentralized world, and all of that. I looked it up on the Google, and I was amazed at how a decentralized world exists and how all the transactions and everything is happening. That was the time that I actually invested in Bitcoin back in 2016. Then I invested again in 17, took some of the gains at the end of 2017 when we did the top and all of that. And then from that point, I was actively working with a lot of projects as a motion graphics artist. And I was actively investing with so many projects. I'm somewhat of a technical guy from many perspectives. So I used to read a lot of white papers. I used to go through all of the details of the projects. I used to get into the tiny details and see what makes a project different from the other projects. And then I used to invest in the early rounds. At that time, ICO was the thing back in 2017. Then fast forward comes 2020 and the IDO was the main thing. So yeah, that was a quick go through my crypto journey in the blockchain space. Not just that, as I mentioned that as an entrepreneur, I have my own creative agency, and we have been working with a lot of crypto projects. We helped with Treecoin, Vinivia, some of the very big names in the blockchain space. Not just that, we work with a lot of projects. We developed NFTs for them, developed UIs and all of that. And through this process, during all of this, what happened was back in 2019, the Australian wildfire happened. That was a very tragic accident, if you remember, and almost 3 billion animals lost their lives and all of that. And in the actual world, we were not able to do anything properly for them. And that got us into thinking that what can we do to actually avoid same thing from happening? So the very first thing that comes to our mind was to create awareness. And while working on that thing, while working on that idea, me and my co-founder Wasam, we came across the idea of Superverse. So we decided on creating a cinematic universe that is there just for the sole purpose of saving the animals, be it your pets, be it the wild animals, be it the stray animals. So when we were going through some cinematic universes, the Spider-Man, Iron Man, Superman, and all of them, but none of the cinematic universe, neither DC, neither nor the Marvel, none of them are very specific to the animal kingdom. So that's where the idea of SuperVet originated, and we decided on creating a whole new cinematic universe, creating a whole ecosystem around it, and creating a sense of awareness among the general masses so that people can actually take care of animals around them. So our mission here is to create a whole ecosystem on this concept and create, you can say, a message of awareness. And yeah, so that was a quick overview of how we landed on the idea of SuperVet.
All right, so at least we get to know more a bit about you, Faizan, and how did you get started in your journey towards the crypto, blockchain, and NFT space, and how you what inspired and motivated you in creating and developing a super vet. So thank you so much, Faizan, for that wonderful introduction. Okay, before we go to the next question, I forgot that I forgot to mention that our official partner for this live AMA is no other than the Comunitas Launchpad. So they are a tier-less decentralized launchpad, in the Polygon network. So just simply go to comunitas.net. Okay, so once again, Comunitas is the official partner for this live AMA with SuperVet. So Faizan, let's move on to the next question. Now, what is currently the mission and vision of SuperVet?
So our current vision here is, like, as I mentioned, is to create a cinematic universe with, you can say, an ecosystem of its own. And we can say that it's going to be a cinematic universe dedicated to saving all kind of animals, be it the pet, the strays, or the wild animals. So SuperVet is not just any other ordinary game that we are developing to kill your boredom. It's more of, you can say that, veterinarian themed GameFi and ComicFi based DeFi metaverse gacha game. So we have introduced this gacha mechanism that's not very popular in the decentralized space, but it's there in so many other games and the communities. And with that, we bring the opportunity for everyone to connect with him. So basically what our game does is that it connects you with the beautiful emotions of like saving the animals, creating a better future for all the animals. As we know that a lot of animals are euthanized either at home or zoos and all of that. And our aim here is to actually do the fundraising for animal foundations for their food, the shelters, the habitats, and the wellness of overall all the animal kingdom that we are aware of. And not just that, for our players and the community, we have very lucrative read to earn and play to earn models as well that are going to create a lot of impact in for the audience that we're going to have. So that was a quick vision. If I comes towards the mission side, so the mission over here is that, as I mentioned, that we have SuperVet Comics, we have Superverse, that is our metaverse, we have SuperVet Game under our cinematic universe. And like we aim at creating animal rescue awareness amongst the masses. So with our read to earn and play to earn models, we are on our way to create the Web 3.0's first veterinarian theme superhero NFT metaverse ComicFi GameFi. So as I mentioned that we are introducing this concept of ComicFi. This was, I believe, something a new thing that we are bringing into this space. So and I believe this is going to be a trendsetter going further down the lane, because not many projects are towards the ComicFi. And if you have played games in your childhood, you must be aware that comics have a very special place in the hearts of every single child and the gamers and all of that. So we believe that this is going to be a very impactful thing moving forward in the Web3 space.
All right. So at least you've shared to us, Faizan, about the current mission and vision that you have for SuperVet. So thank you so much for that. And hopefully all of our subscribers and viewers here, of course, you have enjoyed so far in our live conversation here with Faizan. Now, let's move on to the next question, guys. So this is one of the most important questions that we all need to know regarding SuperVet. Now, Faizan, could you explain how the SuperVet ecosystem works in the crypto, blockchain, and NFT space, especially the features, advantages, and the benefits you have for the community?
Okay, so from a technical perspective, SuperVet will list its own AceVet tokens on different decentralized and centralized exchanges that will be hosted on Binance Smart Chain. Users will get rewards in the shape of those tokens in play to earn and read to earn mechanism that I mentioned earlier. So in technical perspective, whenever someone participates in our competitions or the quizzes that we do, or let's say if someone plays our game or roams around in our superverse, they will be rewarded with Scry tokens. It's same like getting experience points in any game that you play, just like Call of Duty or Overwatch or League of Legends and all of that games. So what differentiates us is that you can actually take those Scry tokens to our dashboards, vesting dashboards, and you can actually exchange them for the SVET tokens and bring them on to your any exchanges that we are listed on, and exchange them for USDT or BTC or whichever currency you like. Beside that, Super Rare is also launching its own blockchain that is Super Crypto Chain, and our game is going to be a fully decentralized game over there. Other than that, as I mentioned, that we have introduced a gacha mechanism, and what that gacha mechanism does is whenever you play the game, whenever you interact with any of the modules of our ecosystem, you will be rewarded with some of the NFTs. Some of them are going to be common, some of them are going to be very rare, and you can actually sell them on our marketplace as well. So every NFT that you buy or either you get rewarded with is going to have a very unique utility. Our NFTs are not just any random images with some accessories or hats or caps or glasses on. They're going to have an actual use case inside our ecosystem. So for example, let's say if you buy a character, let's say you buy an advanced version of Dr. Bruce, as an NFT, you're going to get the same Dr. Bruce inside the game. So this is what we are going to good with our ecosystem, that we are introducing the utility-based NFTs, not just any random colorful characters and all of that. So yeah, I believe that with these utility-based NFTs, we are doing somewhat of a good cause towards creating better ecosystem in the blockchain space and pushing other projects towards doing the same as well, because we believe in utility. We believe in doing the projects that have like better utilities, better end results, not just some cool images.
All right, so at least you've shared to us on how the ecosystem of SuperVet works, especially I'm explaining to us about the features that you have, the advantages and the benefits for the community. So thank you so much for that, Faizan. Hopefully you guys have learned so much from him. But of course, we still have a long ways to go for now. So let's move on to the next question. Now, why did you choose Binance Smart Chain for SuperVet over the others?
Yeah, so this is the question that I always come across. My co-founder, who's our CTO as well, he comes across that question even more often than me. So one of the main reasons is the mass adoption and ease of use in the community in Binance Smart Chain. So all of the crypto community, they are very well familiar with Binance Smart Chain, and more important is the trust factor that Binance Smart Chain has. Even if we keep aside all the technical aspects, we know that Binance Smart Chain has been around for quite some time. It has EVM capability of Ethereum, but the gas fees are very less. So if we look at the other smart blockchains like Solana, Polygon, they are there, but they're comparatively new blockchains. The trust factor, frankly speaking, is not that high. But with Ethereum and Binance Smart Chain, that trust factor is very high. But since due to some of the bottlenecks of Ethereum, we believe that for our project, at least in the start, the Binance Smart Chain is a good option to go. Besides that, you also know that Binance Smart Chain offer a borderless DeFi system. The transaction speeds are very high. The gas fees are very low, and the cross-chain compatibility that they are offering with low latency and high capacity. And besides that, the interoperability that they're working on is going to be something very useful in the future. So yeah, that's some of the reasons that we opted for BSC, at least in the start.
Okay, so there you have it, guys. At least Faizan explained to us on why they choose Binance Smart Chain over the others for SuperVet. So thank you so much for that, Faizan. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Now, this is another interesting question, by the way. Now, Faizan, who are your main competitors in this space, and what makes you guys stand out from the rest?
Okay, so as I mentioned that we are introducing some brand new business and game models along with the ones that we already have. So as I mentioned that ComicFi and Read to Earn are somewhat of a new concepts and new modules from the business and technical side in the blockchain space. But the Play to Earn is something that every other project is doing. So if we look at the modules of ComicFi and Read to Earn, I believe we have almost no competitors in this space. But if we look at the Play to Earn model, then every other project offering Play to Earn is somewhat of a competitor. But we have a very big advantage over other projects here, and that is because of the sentimental value that our projects holds. As I mentioned that we are working on a Web3 project that is dedicated to animals, and not many projects are actually working on that aspect. So the value proposition that we are putting on the table here, and the value and the sentimental perspective of it is, I believe, very high. So as I mentioned, that we're not just creating any other game. The game part is just one module for the user engagement. We are creating a whole cinematic universe, and that give us a competitive advantage and edge over the other like P2E projects.
All right, so at least you've explained to us on about your potential competitors in this space and what makes you guys stand out from the rest. So Faizan, thank you so much for that. Now, before we move on to the next question, for those of you who have came in late, of course, guys, just a reminder about our giveaway. It will be 5 super rare NFTs for the top 5 AMA questions, in which the team will be deciding who is going to win, who is deserving to be on the top 5. Okay, so reserve your questions later after this Q&A session of mine is over. Okay, so let's continue right now. Now, Faizan, could you share some of your achievements from the beginning until now, especially the project partners and investors that you have on board?
Yeah. So even before coming towards the project partners and investors, I would like to highlight what we have achieved so far from the technical side of the project. So we have already made 4 levels of the desktop game. 1 level of the VR is ready. The second level is being worked on. It's almost ready as well. Our NFT marketplace is already there on the testnet, and we have an active stacking and vesting dashboards on testnet as well. The comics marketplace will be launched in 1 week's time, and the free volume of our comic is already ready. So as soon as our comics marketplace is ready, we're going to launch it there as well. Besides that, our smart contracts are already audited by RD Audits and Hackan, and we are currently into our seed and private funding rounds, and successfully done partnerships with some of the well-known VC firms from the space. For example, Rix Capital, IR21 Capital, Hash 21 Capital, Crypto Playboy Capital is already on board. We are in touch with Rack Studios, and Lux Fiat LLC is also one of the partners. And Communitas Launchpad is also gonna do public round for us as well. And besides that, we are closing deal with TrustFi soon. We are already in talks with them and constantly doing meetings with some of the VCs. Besides that, as I mentioned, that this is a project for the animals. So we believe in giving back to the community. So we are already like in process of signing MOU with a lot of charity organizations, especially from Australia. And because we believe that if we are doing something in the digital space for the animals, they should be benefited in the real world. As I mentioned in start, that I'm a guy who believe in utility-based projects. So that's why we are in talk with a lot of charity organizations. And as soon as we do our fundraising, we'll be donating some good amounts to the charity organization. And not just in the start, we'll be giving them some token allocation as well, that they can actually stack on our vesting dashboards, and they can earn constant rewards, and they can actually like make sure that their charity organizations are getting constant rewards from our project. So this, I believe, is one of the core features, and with that we believe in creating actual impact in the real life with our project. Besides that, we are actively like engaged with our community on different platforms. We are running different kind of competitions as well, and like we are actively taking feedback from them as well. So this AMA is part of that narrative as well.
All right, so at least you've shared to us about the recent achievements that you have, from the beginning until now, especially the project partners and investors that you have on board. Okay, so Faizan, thank you so much for that. Now, let's move on to the next question. Aside from the achievements that you have mentioned here, could you also share about the challenges that you and your team are facing these days and how you guys overcome these challenges?
Yeah. So as you know, that every project, every new idea comes with challenges of its own, and which is a good thing, because I believe that these challenges gives you more of a problem solving abilities and gives you new ideas as you work on them. So from technical perspective, frankly speaking, we are on schedule with our technical development timeline. So there are not many technical challenges that we're facing right now. We know that we're going to face some challenges later down the lane, 2 to 3 years from now, and we're already actively working from this day, making sure that when that time comes, we have active solutions. But obviously, things are technology bound, so we'll look into that as the things proceed. But one of the major challenge that we are facing right now is the crypto market itself. So as you know that the sentiment is down, the trust on the new projects is low, and with this downtrend that we're facing right now, it's somewhat of a challenging in terms of getting investors to actually trust on the new projects. As you are very familiar with some of the very well-known projects which recently tanked down, and many investors and retail investors lost of money. So that's one of the challenge that we are facing. But with the investors that we already have on board, with their trust and with the community backing us, we are pretty confident that as soon as the market stabilizes, everything is going to be like back on track as we envisioned in the start of the project.
All right. So at least have you shared to us about the challenges that you and your team are facing these days and how you guys overcome them. So thank you so much for that, Faizan. Now, let's move on to the next question. Now, could you share some of the future plans of SuperVet that would definitely excite the community even more in the long run?
Yeah, so we have a lot in the bags for our community, since Web 3.0 is a decentralized space, and community is, I believe, the main key or the main stakeholder here. So, and whatever we are doing, we are keeping our community in mind as our top prio. So, as I mentioned in the very start, that SuperVet is going to be a cinematic universe, and with that comes some very exciting new features, some engagement modules, and some super fun activities that we have planned. So, for example, from comic marketplace to the NFT marketplace that we have built, to our SuperVet game where we have P2E model, to our Superverse, that's our metaverse. Our modules holds like a lot of content that our community is going to love and even attract new audience to our platform. So, for example, if I go to the Comic-Fi section, where you can actually buy and sell comics, you can rent comics, and after reading the comics, you can participate in a lot of quizzes and earns rewards for that. There are a lot of other prizes against those quizzes as well. In the game modules, like any other game, you play the game and you earn some tokens that you can actually exchange on our dashboards. Besides that, the metaverse of our own, we call it the Superverse. As you explore the metaverse, you get rewarded for that. We have renting and lending mechanism there. We have a whole knowledge base for animals as well. So whenever you come across any animal in our Superverse, you have the option to get the whole knowledge about that. So for example, some dinosaurs that has gone extinct, you can just click on that and you get to know the whole information, and so much more along the same space. So yeah, we do have a lot of good engaging content in the long run that we'll be releasing as we proceed with different phases of the project.
All right. So at least you've shared to us about the future plans that you have in store for SuperVet that would excite the community even more. So thank you so much for that, Faizan. Now, before we go to the next question, of course, for those of you who are tuning into our live AMA right now, of course, get ready with your questions, guys. Okay, because this is going to be my final question right now for this Q&A session. So after this, we will be entertaining questions from the live audience right here in our live AMA today. Okay, so here is my final question for you, Faizan. Now, could you give us some reasons on why we should not miss out the opportunity on SuperVet right now? Like, what is it for us if we are on board early with SuperVet?
Very good question, I must say. So as they say, trend is your friend. And we are getting a new trend registered in Web 3.0 space here, as I mentioned in start. We are going beyond the generic GameFi and P2E platforms with future prospects of our ecosystem. I'm confident that our ROI will be many folds for our investors and early adopters. So some of the cool features like Comic-Fi, return, Oculus missions, avatar customizations, billboard ads and renting in our Superverse, full feature stacking where you can actually stack the NFTs, you can stack our sweat tokens, And with these features, like, we are here to stay. We mean serious business. And for all the people who join us early, like any good projects, I believe the rewards are going to be manifolds. The rewards are going to be very high. So as I mentioned in start, that we are not just building a game. We are here to create a sense of awareness. We are here to, like, in the value proposition, we don't have just a single game. Like, we are here to build a sentimental value, and we want the kids in the future to actually call themselves Dr. Bruce or Dr. X or Dr. Steel, short from our cinematic universe. And you never know, maybe next Comic Con you see some characters doing get up of our characters from our superverse.
All right, so there you have it, guys. Okay, at least we know why we should not miss out in a super vet, and what is it for us if we are on board with this project early. So thank you so much for that, Faizan. Now that my Q&A session is over, it's time for us to entertain the questions coming from our live audience. So this is the second part of our live AMA. So I'll be going here one by one. So just to clarify for our live viewers here, picking your question right now doesn't mean that you're already the winner, because the team are the ones who are going to review all of your questions, and they're the ones who will be finalizing, on who deserves to be one of the top 5, top 5 winners, okay, who will be taking home one of the 5 super rare NFTs of Super Vet. Wow, this is really amazing. I know that super rare NFTs are much more valuable right here, right? Yes. So anyways, let's entertain these questions from our community. First and foremost, coming from A&D Family Channel, one of my OGs here. Good evening. Thanks for coming. So his question for you, Faizan, and I quote, Super Vet becomes a superhero for animals with best 3D art NFT characters in missions in Super Vet World. Can you explain what kind of missions that players will face in the game? What rewards will we get?
Yeah, so thank you so much for asking the question, and I believe it's a very good question, and it relates to the game itself. Yeah, so once you play the game, the kind of missions that you'll be facing are like there are 3 different kinds of like tiers or missions that we'll be offering our audience. We call them super tiers, tier 1, 2, and 3. All these tiers have different levels. So you can call tier 1 the easy level, where you are gonna, let's say, fight against the forces of nature, maybe fire, maybe sandstorms and stuff like that, and maybe navigate your way through the dark to find any animal and rescue them. So the mission will be like that. Let's say when the game starts, every superhero has one common power, and that is getting to know that some animal around them is in danger. So they will be giving hints and clues about the proposed location of that specific animal that is in danger. So they will have to find their way. They go to that animal and they rescue them. So this is the very first like initial easy missions. Going towards the tier 2, where you get a little bit more difficult questions, where you actually get to fight the bad actors. So bad actors can be some bad creatures, it can be some other villains. We do have, by the way, very cool villains of our own as well, so you get to fight them. And in tier 3, that's the most exciting and amazing thing, that you can actually team up. So for example, me, you, and Wasam, we 3 team up and we play as a team, and in our opposition there are going to be teams as well. So yeah, so these are the different kinds of missions that you're gonna see in our game.
Okay, so at least hopefully that answers your question, A&D Family Channel. So thank you so much for asking. Now, coming from another one of my OGs here, Cornelius V. So his question, I quote, is your dual audit under Haken and RP auditors for blockchain, protocol, or smart chain audit? I would like to repeat the question. Is your dual audit under Haken and RP auditors for blockchain protocol or smart chain audit?
So the audit that we have got done is for our smart chains as of now, and very soon we'll be getting the audits for our own blockchain as well.
All right, so hopefully that answers your question, Cornelius V. Okay, another follow-up question coming from him. In your white paper, can you elaborate the utilities of FTs and NFTs? You said both are stakeable each other to earn the opposite.
Yeah. So let me explain that. So what will happen is that on our stacking dashboards, you can actually stack the NFTs to earn our token or SVET token, or you can stack the SVET tokens to earn different NFTs. So yeah, they are stackable against each other, and we have given like both stacking options.
All right. So hopefully that answers your question, Cornelius. So thank you so much for asking. Now let's move on to the next question. Wow. We have many questions right now that are flooding. Okay. I will be going them one by one. Coming from Chris Braun. So he asked, and I quote, can you give some information about security measures? How safe are investors' funds? Currently, hackers are very active in the market.
Yes. So as I mentioned that our smart contract is already being audited by and certified by RD audits and Hacken, and we are in process of getting same done from Certic as well. So yes, we have taken a lot of security measures. Our smart contracts are safe. The vesting boards that we have made for our initial early seed and private investors have been tested on our testnets, and we can assure that our project is super safe. It's certified, and very soon we are going to get our own blockchain certified and audited as well. So yeah, it's pretty safe to say that our smart contracts are safe, and anyone who invests with us will be in safe hands.
All right. So hopefully that answers your question. Thank you so much for participating. Let's move on to the next one coming from Kang Eren. So and I quote, what impact will the Hero NFT box purchase have on gameplay during the start of the game? What is the difference between NFTs? Do first generation heroes have any advantage over the later generation heroes?
So let's say if you are airdropped some NFTs or you got some NFTs from Gesha mechanism, or let's say you buy some NFTs, obviously those NFTs that you have are going to have some core differences from the ones that you get from free. And obviously the difference between first and the later generations won't be much. Obviously we'll be introducing new characters with the backstories of their own, but that won't mean that first generation heroes will get redundant or they won't have any use case of their own. It won't be like that. So every superhero that we introduce in our superverse is going to stay till the end of the project. And let's say if we see that any difference is getting along the path of where, let's say, second or third generation of our superheroes are getting more powers compared to the first one. So we do have mechanisms that anyone who holds those NFTs will be airdropped with the new powers of the new heroes in a likewise fashion.
Okay, so hopefully that answers your question, Kang Eren. So thank you so much for participating. Now, coming from Alvin6H, okay, and I quote, how does SuperVet's operating mechanism ensure the benefits of traders and gamers, ensuring balance between earning and playing?
Okay, so if I get it correct, they're asking for how a player can actually, from our perspective, how are we gonna create the balance between the player and the earn? Is that correct?
Okay. How balancing between earning and playing? I think how you really balance, like you have some in-game tokens or something like that would yeah.
So what's going to happen is that we have dedicated tokens, almost 35% of the total token supply towards the players and the ones who actually interact with our platform in different modules, for example, in the Superverse, in the read to earn and play to earn. So let's say if Jeff, you are playing the game, you will be rewarded with Scry tokens, right? Against those Scry tokens, you can actually give to us the Scry tokens, and in reward you get the SWET tokens on one of our dashboards. So what will happen going down the lane, that obviously in start the number of Scry tokens that we're giving out will be a lot more, and as soon as our SWET token price increases, the amount of Scry tokens being given out is gonna be reduced a little with time. But to answer that question, yeah, we have 35% of our total token supply locked against our audience who are gonna interact and engage with any of the modules. And those modules can be play to earn, read to earn, quizzes, roaming around in our superverse, and the other interactive and engaging activities that we're gonna bring in.
Okay, so hopefully that answers your question, Alvin68. So thank you so much for that. Now, coming from Tiesuni Ogunrombi, good evening. So his question, and I quote, will SuperVet support NFT staking as a means of passive income for its users aside from the play to earn concept?
Yes, definitely. So let's say you have bought some NFTs or you have earned some NFTs, so you can actually stack them on our dashboards. And as a result, you will be getting passive incomes in terms of SWET tokens. So yes, we do.
All right. So hopefully that answers your question, Tiesuni. So thank you so much for that. Now, coming from Michio Uzumaki. So his question, and I quote, one of SuperVet's major plans is to establish its own blockchain network called Super Crypto Chain. Can you tell us more about this upcoming blockchain? Will it be compatible with EVM blockchains?
Yes, so we are, as I mentioned, that we have already developed our own blockchain, that is Super Crypto Chain. Yes, it will be EVM compatible, and the reason for establishing our own blockchain is that, as I mentioned, that we want our game to be completely decentralized, and our own blockchain will have the Scry tokens. The NFTs that will be giving out will be like hosted on both of the blockchains, the BSC and our own blockchain. And later on, we might onboard other blockchains as well, like Solana and Polygon as well. So as I mentioned, that BSC is friendly with interoperability. Our blockchain does the same, and all the other blockchains that offer interoperability will link to them. And as I mentioned, that we're building the whole ecosystem. So with that ecosystem, we'll try our best to link with the most number of blockchains possible.
All right, so hopefully that answers your question, Michio. So thank you so much for that. Now, coming from Hatada, so her question to you, and I quote, what marketing plan will you have to expand the upcoming market? Will be there an airdrop giveaway mini game before the game launches?
Yes, so as I mentioned, that 4 missions of our game are ready, and probably in like time of 5 to 6 days, we'll be giving out a free version of the game on our website. So you can actually go on our website and play the game. This is part of our community engagement program, or the campaigns that we are doing. Besides that, these AMA that we are doing is part of our like community engagement and marketing plans. And other than that, yes, we do have active marketing plans as well. And as soon as we go near the TGE event, we'll be doing a lot of marketing, different campaigns, and yes, a lot of airdrops in forms of NFTs, in forms of our SWET tokens. So yes, if you subscribe to us and you like participate in the competition, so hopefully you'll be getting some good airdrops from us.
All right, so hopefully that answers your question, Hatada. So thank you so much for participating. Now, coming from Yuri. So his question, and I quote, the game's NFT can be used to customize the character for beauty and fashion, but can it be used for anything else?
Sorry, I lost you a little in between. Can you please repeat the question? Sorry for that.
I will repeat the question. The game's NFT can be used to customize the character for beauty and fashion, but can it be used for anything else?
Yes. So as I mentioned in the start, that all the NFTs that we are giving out have a lot of utility. They are not just pretty images for beautification and customization like that. So yes, every single NFT that you purchase has some power that is correspondent to something in the game. So for example, let me give you A quick example. So let's say if I buy, let's say, power potion for Dr. Bruce, it's not just Dr. Bruce with some superpowers on the image only. My Dr. Bruce inside the game is going to have that power. So if I have this NFT, my Dr. Bruce in the game will move fast. Let's say if I have super punch, so my Dr. Bruce in the game is going to have that super punch with him. So yes, all the NFTs are going to have the utility inside the game. Beside that, one of a very cool feature of our project is that we are working on doing customized avatars as well for the purpose of beautification too, by the way. So let's say if you upload your own images, very soon you will have the option of having your face on the characters that you are playing. So you can become the super vet in our superverse.
Okay, so hopefully that answers your question, Yuri. So thank you so much for that. Now, Faizan, you did mention about Dr. Bruce, right? Because someone right here has mentioned about Dr. Bruce. Okay, so coming from Jonathan Nguyen. So his question for you is, can you explain why Dr. Bruce will be free and the others are not? Is it possible that this will be a regular veterinarian while the others will have special abilities?
So, first of all, thank you for the good question, which tells a lot that audience is actually listening to what I'm saying, and that's a good thing. Yeah. So let me explain about that. So what happens is, as you know, for every project, like what you do is you give out some things for free, you give out some basic features for free, and for the others, obviously, you have to make your project work. So some of the features the buyers or the players actually have to buy to make it work. So there is obviously that free version of Dr. Bruce is going to be the basic, but not all the versions of Dr. Bruce are going to be just basic variants with simple powers. So let's say in start, we are giving out a simple version of Dr. Bruce, but let's say with NFT number 45, we'll give Dr. Bruce XYZ superpowers. So as soon as you buy that NFT, your Dr. Bruce is going to have those superpowers as well. And let's say Dr. Steel Shot has some electric powers. With that NFT, Dr. Bruce is going to have the similar powers of their own. So yeah, so in start, we are giving out Dr. Bruce for free, which is a basic variant. And this is just for the purpose of showing the community that the work we have done on the back end, the good infrastructure that we have built. And as soon as our community starts interacting and playing with the game, they'll be earning enough from our game already to actually buy the NFTs from the earnings that they're making from the game.
Okay, so hopefully that answers your question regarding Dr. Bruce. I'm Jonathan Nguyen, so thank you so much for participating. All right, so let's move on to the next one. Coming from Suresh Haksor. So his question, and I quote, are you a global project or a local project? At present, which market are you focusing on, or is it focused on building and growing to gain customers, users, and partners?
So yes, we are a global project. We are targeting like all the players worldwide. As we know that gamers are not technically location bound. I used to be a gamer. I used to game a lot. I used to play Call of Duty. I used to play Overwatch. I played a little bit League of Legends as well. And I have a lot of friends who are from different areas of the world. I have friends from Europe. I have friends from Malaysia, Indonesia, US, Canada. So as I mentioned that gamers are not location or geography bound. So our project is not location or geography bound. It's targeted towards the whole world. It's targeted towards the whole gaming community. And not just the gaming community, it's targeted towards every single human being out there, giving out the message that take care of the animals, not just the pets, the strays and the wilds as well. And this is what the whole ecosystem is about, and game is just a small part of it.
All right, so hopefully that answers your question, Suresh. So thank you so much for participating. Now I'm coming from Constantino Bianco. So his question, and I quote, I read that SuperVet has two tokens, namely SVET and SCRY. Can you please explain which of these tokens function as in-game currency, and can we also use it outside the game?
Yes, so the SCRY token is the in-game currency. It's equivalent to any experience points that you get in any game you play. For example, the mobile games you play, you get some coins and tokens that you use to purchase the in-game assets. So that is the SCRY tokens. And yes, those SCRY tokens are actually exchangeable with SVET tokens. So just say, let's say, for instance, if you have 100 SCRY tokens, this is not the exact number. This is just for a reference, for example. So let's say if you earn 100 Scry tokens, you can actually exchange them, let's say, for one SVAT token. And you can actually take that one SVAT tokens on any centralized or decentralized exchange and exchange them for any currency that you want, or actually use that to buy the NFTs or whatever you want. So SVAT is like any other BTC or Ethereum tokens out there on the public chains, and Scry is the in-game or in-chain token for our game.
Okay, so hopefully that answers your question, Constantino. So thank you so much for participating. Now let's move on to the next question. Okay, coming from Nilo481. So his question, and I quote, what would you consider the best feature of the game that will set it apart from other upcoming NFT games and some of the currently successful NFT games?
Yes, so that feature will be Comicify. As I mentioned at the start, that the concept of Comicify that we are bringing in is going to create a lot of sentimental value to the project. It's something that distinguishes us from the rest of the project. And other than that, we believe that with Comicify, we have an early mover advantage, and we're pretty sure that very soon, a lot of other projects are going to follow the same trend. So we believe we are kind of a trendsetter when it comes to this new trend of Comicify in this space.
Okay, so hopefully that answers your question, Nilo481. Thank you so much for participating. Now, I'm coming from Good Student. So his question, and I quote, on which devices can SuperVet can be played? What is the minimum cost to start playing SuperVet? Does the game have NFT rental mechanism?
Yes. So regarding the devices, we are compatible with all of the computer devices like the OS, Windows, and Mac. Besides that, we are compatible with Oculus VR headsets, and the game works on web variant as well as there are desktop variant of the game as well. And yes, we do have a renting mechanism in our Superverse.
All right. So hopefully that answers your question, a good student. So thank you so much for participating. Now let's move on to the next one. Okay, coming from Gold D. Rogers. So his question, and I quote, the player is the most crucial factor. What ambitions does the SuperVet team have to strengthen the player ecology and attract more players to SuperVet?
Yes, so it's a very good question indeed, and I believe it's coming from someone who has done gaming in past, or they have been gaming recently. So yeah, so every character, if you go to our white paper, if you go to our website, you will get to see that every single character that we have has a very nice backstory of their own. And the purpose of having this backstory in place is to create user engagement and interactivity with the project. So yeah, every character has a backstory and they relate to this ecosystem, and not just this backstory and the ecosystem. We're actually working on creating a lot of super cool animations that actually relate to this backstory. So very soon in our comics, you will see those backstories. In our platform, you'll see a lot of good videos, and those videos actually will be about the story of the whole character. By the way, Jeff, I believe I have another meeting in 10 minutes, if you don't mind. So can we wrap it up? So sorry for that. It's a very good, engaging session going on, and I'm actually personally enjoying it a lot, with a lot of good questions coming in. But if we can wrap it up in like 10 minutes so that I can participate in my next meeting in 10 minutes.
Okay, I understand. All right. So hopefully that answers your question, Gold D. Rogers. So thank you so much for that. Faizan, I think we should entertain just one more question, if it's okay with you.
Yeah,
one more question. Okay. Coming from Richard Nguyen, his question, and I quote, I adore RPG games, and I know that goods and weapons are what makes our characters great. How do you get each of these weapons and items? Is it solely through marketplace purchases only?
So not solely or just through the marketplace. Yeah, regarding the purchase, yes, it's solely through the marketplaces only. But as I mentioned that we have introduced the cache mechanism that will be airdropping a lot of these items, and they are spot on that for the RPG games, the goods, the weapons, the stuff that your character carries means a lot inside the game. So even in the maps, there are a lot of items hidden inside the map. So if you find anything inside the map, you're going to have that as part of like NFTs or as part of your weapons or goods for the next round, or with your character till the time you keep playing with that character. But regarding the marketplaces, yes, these will be only available on our marketplace or the marketplace we partner up with. So for example, let's say if we partner up with Binance NFT, so these are all these weapons and stuff like there will be available over there on our own marketplace. Yes.
All right. So hopefully that answers your question, Jonathan. All right. So thank you so much for Richard Nguyen. Sorry. Thank you so much for participating. So guys, since Faizan mentioned that he has another meeting, of course we have to wrap this up. So guys, thank you so much for your time in participating in our live AMA with Super Vet co-founder Faizan Amwar. And about the 5 super rare NFTs, of course the team will be reviewing all of the questions that you have right here in the live chat. Okay, so they are the ones who are going to decide on who are going to be the winners of the top 5 AMA questions. So we'll be taking home super rare NFTs each. Okay, so one of the 5 super rare NFTs. All right. So before we wrap this up, Faizan, do you have any parting words for our amazing subscribers and viewers who are tuning into our live AMA right now?
Yeah, thank you so much for being part of the session. I really enjoyed the questions, and I was going through the comment section, some pretty interesting questions as well. Sorry, we can't answer all of them for now, but I'm pretty sure we can set up another session, a detailed one with more time. So sorry for that, my apologies. And thank you so much, Jeff, for having me on board. It was pleasure talking to you, pleasure interacting with you and your audience. They're lovely people asking some pretty good questions. And I like this about the audience when they actually listen and ask some good questions. And we hope to have this audience on our platform as well. We are up on Telegram, we're up on Twitter and Discord as well. So if there is any further questions, you guys are more than welcome to just ping us on Telegram or any of these platforms, and we'll be glad to answer you.
All right, so there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, our special guest for tonight, of course, the co-founder of SuperVet, Mr. Faizan Amwar. So once again, Faizan, thank you so much for your time here with us tonight. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. Pleasure talking to you. Take care.
All right. And also, I would like to thank all of our subscribers and viewers who are tuning into our live AMA right now with Faizan. So if you have any additional questions, of course, feel free to join their official Telegram group and other social media channels that they have. Okay. And also, guys, about the special announcement that I have mentioned earlier, of course, I will be posting it on my official Telegram group. So just search Nomad Fury Official on Telegram. Okay. So, guys, once again, thank you so much for your time. And don't forget to smash the subscribe button, hit like, and turn on the notification bell for more videos regarding cryptos, blockchain, DeFi, NFTs, and of course, live AMAs. And of course, special shout out to Comunitas Launchpad for being the official partner of this live AMA with SuperVet. Okay. So from my freaking home studio, this is Jeff, aka Nomad Fury, and I'll see you all again next time. So thank you guys. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.